What's up, guys? This is my predictions video for UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Hunt. This card, it's a decent card, but it doesn't have the star power that you would normally see, right? But the trend of this year, and most cards this year, the ones that don't have the star power or the names, usually deliver the most. So I'm still excited to see this card. So let's get started. Starting with Alexander Volkanovski versus Mizoto Hirota. This is an interesting fight because you have Volkanovski, who's a prospect, up-and-coming guy. A lot of people have their eye on him. I think he had one fight in the UFC so far. He looked really good, had a very good performance. He fights at the featherweight division, but he's really small. He's only 5'5", which is incredibly small for the division. Especially when he goes and fights the upper echelon guys, it's going to show. When he fights guys like Jose Aldo or Yair Rodriguez or Max Holloway, the size can be a problem for him. But he's more of a stand-up fighter, a striker. He's good with everything on the feet, and he also has underrated takedowns and takedown defense. He's a power puncher, and he's incredibly fast. He's really good with the infighting. And he's fighting Mizoto Hirota, who's more of a well-rounded fighter. I don't think he's on the level of Volkanovski. He's more of a striker himself, but he doesn't really excel anywhere. He's not exceptional anywhere. So I'm going to go with Volkanovski in this fight, and I'm going to go by a second-round knockout. And I see a lot of promise in him, but I hope he goes down in bantamweight one day if the size really affects him. Then we go to Tim Elliott versus Ben Nguyen. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. This is going to be a fun fight. This will probably be the most technical fight of the night. You have Tim Elliott, who is very unorthodox, very unpredictable, does some weird, funky stuff in there. He walk backwards at you, turn his back to you, you throw back fists, throw combinations using the back fist, and he's really good with scrambles. He's one of the best fighters in the division when it comes to scrambling. He's really good on the ground. That's where he prefers the fight. So does Ben. So that's going to be interesting when it goes on the ground. He has a really good guillotine, as well as the rear naked choke, and he's really good on top. And he's fighting Ben, he's more wild, right? Even though Tim is really wild, Ben is very wild himself, which is going to make this one exciting. And he's not afraid to throw leather. He's not afraid to trade punches. He's really good on the ground himself, but he likes to ground and pound more than submit. And Ben also likes to scramble himself. He likes the chaotic grappling exchanges, which I don't know if he's going to be able to beat Tim at. So I'm going to go with Tim Elliott on this. I'm going to go by a decision or a late submission, but I think this might be the fight of the night. And then I'm going to go to Dan Hooker versus Ross Pearson. Another interesting fight. You have Dan Hooker, who used to be a featherweight. He's 6 feet, which is crazy, 75-inch reach. But he's been up and down in his career. He's a striker predominantly, and he likes to keep his opponents on the outside, but sometimes he gets lazy with his punches, and his opponents are able to counter him or get in on him. I think that's going to be the problem with him in this fight. And also, he's pretty good on his back. I don't think it's going to go there, but he's going to have problems with Ross Pearson as Ross Pearson enters. Because Pearson is a veteran. He's fought everybody. He's a striker himself, although he's well-rounded. He has really good boxing as well as high kicks, especially his left and right roundhouse kick. And his leg kicks are pretty good too. I think Ross Pearson is going to be able to enter and get into Hooker and unload shots in close range. And I'm going to go with Ross Pearson by a third-round knockout or a decision. Then we go to the co-main event, Derrick Brunson versus Daniel Kelly. Interesting fight because everybody underestimates Daniel Kelly. Everybody has this image of him, has this perspective of him, of this old fighter who doesn't really excel anywhere, but just happens to win. He's very underrated, very underestimated, and if Derrick Brunson underestimates him like that, he could be in trouble in this fight. Brunson is very powerful, very long for the division. He's a wrestler with some wild striking. Probably the most wild striking I've ever seen. Chin up, use all his arm reach to knock his opponent off those straight punches, but just sprints at his opponent. There's no patience, no cerebral approach. And he's powerful. I mean, this guy has some real knockout power. The only time you haven't seen him throw those wild punches was in his last fight against Silva because he learned from his mistakes, he said, and also he respected Silva a little too much. He's fighting Kelly, who's a judoka, a really highly accomplished judoka. He has really traditional boxing as well as really good trips in the clinch, and he's really controlling in the clinch. He's very deceiving in the clinch. He's a lot stronger than people give him credit for. When you see opponents get in the clinch with Kelly, it seems like they're a little bit surprised how hard it is to take him down and how easy he takes them down. And when you see his knees, I mean, his knees are taped up for a reason. Look at his knees when he fights. They're completely, it's like a mummy. It's because his knees are completely torn from all those years in judo, so he's not moving too much when he fights, and he doesn't kick that much, which could be a problem against a guy like Brunson. So I'm going to go with Brunson in this fight, and I think he's going to win by a first or second round knockout. Although Daniel Kelly is extremely tough, one of the toughest guys in the middleweight division, I don't think he's going to be able to get away from the power punches from Derrick Brunson, and I don't think he's going to be able to stop the takedown, especially the blast double leg. So I see Derrick Brunson finding an opening, landing a big shot, and taking him down and ground and pounding him. And then we go to the main event. Derrick Lewis versus Mark Hunt. This is going to be an exciting fight. Both don't want anything to do with the ground game. Want to stand toe-to-toe and just throw heavy leather. Derrick Lewis is a much bigger fighter. 6'3", 79-inch reach, which is huge. And he uses that reach actually very effectively. He doesn't use his footwork at all. He kind of just plods and he just wants to get in front of his opponent and just throw heavy leather. He's really good with his right hook and right overhand. And he's decent with his jabs too. He has a really underrated jab. But he's also very open to leg kicks, which I see from Mark Hunt. Mark is more technical in his striking, although he likes to trade punches as well and try to knock his opponent out in the first round. But he has really heavy leg kicks, which I think is going to be a deciding factor in the fight. Mark Hunt's leg kicks are devastating. You could just tell by the size of his legs. You could tell how much damage he can do with them, and he's really effective with them. Hunt has a really good left hook and a right straight and right overhand. His uppercut is good as well, but I don't think it's going to be too much effect in this fight because how tall Derrick Lewis is. And Lewis doesn't like to change his levels, so the uppercut I don't think is going to be much of a factor. But the left hook or the right straight or overhand are going to be the shots for Mark Hunt. I think Mark Hunt's going to land them, so I'm going to go with Mark Hunt by a first or second round knockout due to kicking his legs and catching him with left hooks and right hands. But I see Derrick Lewis taking more than we expect him to, because Lewis has tremendous heart, has a really good chin, and he doesn't give up. So I do see him taking some punishment, but I do see Hunt getting the TKO. So those are my predictions, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to comment below on what your guys' predictions are, if you agree or you disagree, and why. I'm really curious to see what you guys think. And for the new viewers and the new subscribers that don't know what the C or the I mean on the video, the C is correct overall picks on this channel, on all past fights. And the I is the incorrect picks overall on this channel. Also, I have 2 videos I'm going to upload soon. I want to get both the videos out before next Wednesday, so be on the lookout for those. They're both going to be breakdown videos. One of them, a fight that you guys suggested, and another one of the fights on this card. So make sure you guys watch the fights. And again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.